I punched a guy at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. I was sober. Next thing you know, I'm in the San Antonio jail. Jake Tackett, 69 at bigoil.com.
Exactly don't do it, Chad! I've already called the police. Don't worry. Everything's taken care of.
Don't worry. She was like that stereotypical white woman. Oh, God. Napalm likes to stick to kids.
We love women because they're ducks.
There's got to be another war you motherfuckers can go die in.
I was trying to keep this one above board.
Dude, you ever heard of the Duffel blog?
The Duffel blog.
It's been around for a bit. So I was it's a satirical site, but it was like military stuff. I was one of the original writers for that, but most of those guys were either active duty or a lot of them were like colonels and shit. I was the only person that ever used my real name. They all wrote under
pseudonyms, pen names.
Yeah, and I was the only one that used my real name.
Dude, Duffelbach was great.
I was one of the first 10 writers.
That's super cool.
What was it? I don't know anything about
it. It was like the Onion, but for the military. And now you have the Babylon Bee and the Hard Times, and it's kind of... Yeah. But back then, nobody had done anything other than the Onion, and then the Duffel blog became this satirical voice. And people were reading it at the highest levels. It was so entertaining.
It was a good... it kind of spawned like the U.S. Army What the Moments.
Yeah.
Which was like the What the Moments was so cool because it was a way for like the lower enlisted to like yell at the highest ranks of the military without like...
Right.
It democratized the military experience. Yeah.
You could come along and do some... there was a really cool guy. His name's John Burke. When I was still...
Oh, I know John. Yeah.
We had a sergeant major that overheard these two privates complaining about how they felt left out because they didn't have combat patches and they didn't have like decorations from schools and stuff, and it like made them feel like they weren't a part of the unit. So the lieutenant colonel that like overhears this in the talk and makes the decision that from here on out the entire brigade, the entire Ruckason 3rd Brigade, will no longer be wearing any kind of skill patches or identifying anything.
That's
combat
kind
patches.
of the point of the whole thing,
right? And like you're supposed to look up to like the staff sergeant that's all decked out and like want to be him. So it was like me and a handful of other NCOs were like, I don't care what they say, I'm not taking the off. And we like sent a video to John Burke. That day he named the unit, the sergeant major, the lieutenant colonel, did a video, blasted it. It went like semi-viral. And then that evening, the sergeant major had to apologize for what the SCO had done. He didn't have anything to do with it, but he had to like eat his words. And it was all of the NCOs from the brigade like in this big ass building. It was like 12 hours. And, like,
mutiny management. If you're a higher ranking, mutiny management has to be a lot more difficult in the social media era than it was 20 years ago.
It was super cool. When I finally got enough of a following on social media, John followed me on Instagram.
Yeah.
I sent him a message. And I was like, you probably don't remember me, but like you literally kept the Ruckasons, like the Ruckasons, like you in 12 hours.
But he was a Fort Campbell guy, right?
I think so.
The thing with John is the only reason he has followed me on and off, and I never know if he's following me or not, is because he gets his Instagram canceled every 6 months, and he's got a new one.
He goes pretty hard.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Man vs. Morning. I'm Jake Watson, and today I am joined by my wonderful co-hosts, Nolan the Sandalorian, Tackett the Tactician, and our special guest, Jack Mandaville from Jacked History.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm sorry I smell like cigarettes.
And also from the Flying Chanclas Chancla team.
Yeah, this is
oh my God, I didn't read
our local
that.
San Antonio, the 7th biggest city in the country, and all we can get is a AA team out of the whole thing. So.
Wait, is that actually what?
This is our AA. The missions. It's like the minor leagues version of the City Connect thing.
I didn't know we had a AA team.
Yeah, the missions. It's in a crappy part of town that it's not great, but. Good news is they're putting a downtown ballpark in downtown San Antonio, so it'll be a lot better baseball.
This is fantastic news to me.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to take JJ to a baseball game, like a proper one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
it's just on the west side of San Antonio.
The Flying
this changes
Chanclas.
It's near Lackland.
I was gonna go see the what Nolan Ryan's team up there, whatever they're called.
Oh, the Ranger or both the Astros and the Rangers. He did both.
Well, and then there's a AAA team up there.
Oh, okay. In Austin.
No, it's something trains. It's a train.
Oh yes, I think that's the Frisco. No, I know what you're talking about.
I thought I had to go up there to catch a baseball team. It's good to know that.
The Round Rock Express.
That's it.
That's
an awesome Gang Does episode. The Gang Does Flying Chanclas.
Oh man, you know what? Honestly, too, I could get you in contact with people that work for there, and you could, make it official
That
getting
would be
in there, so you don't get hassled.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good news about AA baseball is it's not as restrictive as going to a big park or
Right.
anything like that. Yeah.
Are they actually called the Flying Chanclas?
They're called the missions, but
like the-
1 month every season, the jersey, the name, everything changes.
Oh, that's
which is the most San Antonio name. It's like we're celebrating our mothers beating us.
Dude, I love it so
Yeah.
much.
Well, they
so
they
good.
can't beat you if they miss.
Right, exactly.
They
Yeah.
don't miss.
Yeah.
I saw a video recently where this lady kicks it up and flips it like that, and the guy is rolling the window up in the car and just gets smoked in the face anyways. She snuck it right through the window, dude. From like, I don't know, 50 feet away. Like she's across the street in a yard.
I grew up, we grew up in the same state, and I don't know
Yeah.
what your home situation is. I would imagine it was similar, but I grew up white enough to where I didn't know what a chancla was until I moved
I
to
didn't.
California,
Yep. Not until I met my wife. She hit me with one.
Yeah.
Then I knew.
Yeah.
That's
were
how
like-
I knew she was the one.
You're like, you just activated a new thing.
Your wife's pretty LA.
Yeah.
Mexican LA. Yeah.
Yes, she is.
Wendy's hilarious. Did you see she commented on one of the recent reels, and she's the only like hidden comment because she said in her comment when it was like the reel about like why is like your
gotta
woman
unhide
driving
that.
around nowhere,
Unhide that.
and she was like, shut up and get in the car. Wendy goes hard, man.
Yeah, I fear what she sees of this show that's out there, but
Yeah, it's fine.
she tends to laugh at it.
Does she watch every episode?
No, but I don't know what I've said.
Yeah.
It's one of those filmed and forget, kind of like
Yeah.
a fire and forget
Yeah.
missile.
It's amazing when you're dating or married to someone where you're in a job where you make public stuff. And eventually, a lot of the time, they quit watching at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah.
And I've learned not to take that personally because it's like, well, every other job on earth, you'll tell your wife about your day at work, but she's not watching what you're doing. It's not normal to expect for her to
Yeah.
care about how you're earning that paycheck that you're handing to her,
Right, exactly.
That and whatever you're talking about on the like when you're producing stuff like this, like we got weirdly personal with me on the last episode. And
It was for work.
It was for work, but like
Yeah, right.
I have to sell like parts of my personal life and who I am, and like that's what makes you. There's only one Jack Mandeville, right? So like that's what you monetize is like the weirdness about you.
Yeah.
And so then like
That's all I have in my arsenal. Yeah.
But then
I've
like
got, babe.
the person that you're with doesn't understand. They're like, I'm gonna talk about our personal life. They're like,
Yeah.
no, like that's not like. Yeah, I'm
am.
going to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell the world what you said to me
Yeah.
this morning.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take some little thing and like kind of like push it a little into the world of extremity, especially if you do like stand-up stuff. You have to just take it and like run with it.
Yeah, and even with stand-up, a lot of time you're making stuff up, but by doing that, you're going into it knowing that people may not understand that, so they're going to have a perception of you regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you approach your stand-up?
Well, I'm a writer by original trade.
Yeah.
And then I fell into some acting work, which became a thing.
Yeah.
I have done stand-up.
Yeah, I've seen you.
It's not a regular for me, so I've been kind of using I've evolved the same material the last 10 years because I do it so sparingly, I don't have to be evolving that part
Got it.
of any stage
Yeah.
act. But yeah, I got put on stage a few times 8 years ago or whatever, and
Yeah.
like a consistent stand-up, like a real stand-up, I just had to test what worked, and eventually I found like some core 4 or 5 jokes that work, and that's all the time I'm going to have anyways. So
Right.
yeah, that's
Interesting.
worked out for me. Because
Yeah.
what works on the internet or in a movie or whatever doesn't necessarily translate on stage. And
No.
that's why I have a lot of admiration for stand-ups, because any shitty thing I've ever made, whether it's a stupid internet video or a movie or TV show, I don't have to read the comment section. I don't need to see the validation or
Yeah.
talk. Where stand-up, you are dealing
you're
with
gonna
your
get it right back.
successes
Yeah.
and failures in the
there.
moment.
You
Yeah.
better like shake it off and like get the next one rolling. Like,
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by it. I've been obsessed with stand up since I was a kid, and now doing this stuff, it's kind of giving me the bug. Like I kind of want to try it out, and like I've been hanging out with Justin a bunch.
Bernal,
Yeah, I've been hanging out with Bernal a
yeah,
bunch,
he
and, like,
went
he's
all
bugging me
in.
about
Yeah.
it.
I broke one time. I was doing a show out in Spain for like a USO thing.
Yeah.
And there was like, speaking of infantry people, I was in front of like 1,000 infantry, Marines, and soldiers, and they can be bastards.
Yeah,
And I just
Whatever do you mean?
yeah, I found out.
that's a rough group of people.
Yeah, that's the worst to perform for. I was in the infantry 20 years and 80 pounds ago. I empathize with them, but I don't want to try to make their life better because they're hell-bent on being miserable. But I'm up there, and I just found out one of them got like a DUI, so all of them got their alcohol taken away. So now they're forced sober. They can't leave the base, so their only option is to watch this shitty D-level comedy guys show up and put on a show. And they were like heckling me horrible, and they broke me. They fucking broke me, and under my breath. But into the microphone, under my breath, but into the microphone, I go, there's got to be another war you motherfucker can go die in. And all of a sudden they go, yeah! I'm like, that's how I won you?
Yeah. We had
You surprised?
I wasn't, but also it's like I wasn't trying to get that. I was trying to throw it back at them, and then it backfired with laughter. Yeah.
It's the humor that like people that have never been in, because it's not just the military, it's like combat arms specifically. That humor is like, it's just very, very dark. Like it has to be. We had Rich on, and we made like 50 jokes.
Yeah.
So we were watching it back, and we were like, we're gonna keep a couple. But
Oh yeah, YouTube. Yeah. My favorite headline. I told you I was one of the original Duffel Blog writers. For anyone that doesn't know, it's a satirical thing. It's like The Onion. But my favorite in the writing group, my favorite fucking headline pitch ever was 22 veterans a day commit, but it's never the ones I want. Which is so fucking layered and good because you're literally stating like it's the good guys that that go.
Yeah.
And then all the shittiest guy you knew in your platoon is out there living his life.
he's
like
a fucking sergeant major now.
Yeah, he's like a bastard. Like, how the f are you still alive?
All the good guys themselves, or they realize that this system is not something that they want to be in, and they leave, and it's that one retard, and you just check in every like 5 years on Facebook, and you're like, I can't believe he's an E7 now. Oh my god, they made him a first sergeant. Oh my god, he's sergeant major of the brigade. Like,
these are the things we can't say.
Yeah. Oh, you can. I won't cancel you. I don't know about these other Neanderthals watching.
Cancel me.
Yeah.
if you stay in that system long enough, you will get rank. You just gotta stay. Just stay.
You know, Jack, one of the interesting things about you that is different, I think, from other guests we've had on so far is your background doesn't just touch social media. I mean, you've been doing this for long enough where you've, like you said, writer, you've done film and TV, you've done commercials, you've done YouTube, obviously, a little bit of stand-up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to hear some of the war stories of just, like, the process of going through that and kind of what you've learned.
Yeah.
In that, because now the interesting anecdote to that is now you're applying it to your own channel.
Yes. You know what's funny? Thank you for asking that. One, the first time I've ever actually had an in-depth, I did the Say Hi to Eli show, and that was the first time anyone was asking me deep questions.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, I haven't had to think about a lot of these things. So you're doing that to me right now.
Well, thanks to Eli for asking you those questions first.
Yeah, you got my brain where there right now. I was actually talking about this today because I'm not I think what happened, I'm one of those character actor guys where people they recognize me, they can't put their finger on it, or they know I'm the guy around the own subgroup, or our compound crew and all that. Yeah. So they recognize me, but they don't know the name. I'm not like a personality by any means. I'm a supporting character. But I've been doing this I've been writing, producing, documentaries, but even dumb internet videos for quite a while. And so I was talking about this today with my buddy Marty Scoveland.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't have like instant name recognition by any means. I'm not going to announce that I started a YouTube channel and get, 100,000 subscribers off the bat. I got to trudge away at this. Yeah. But what I do have in my arsenal is I know how to make a deadline. I know how to script. I know how to set up a schedule. I know the working parts of media or entertainment, right? Yeah. I know what the work is I have to put in to make something good or better, which YouTube's a whole different beast than me just having to show up to a set and maybe I have 5 lines, or even if I'm have a meatier character, being told what to do as an actor is a hell of a lot easier than having to put together your own program
an entire
and
project.
YouTube best practices, and that's why I'm glad I know all you guys. You guys are really honed in on like the best practice stuff, and you are obviously very good at evolving with it.
YouTube's an absolutely wild beast.
It's a different beast.
Yeah, it's a fickle.
And I've been on YouTube since the beginning, but I've always just been showing up in my friends' videos. I've never had to think about the back end stuff and all that. So this is I'm learning, and I got good people around to ask questions from. But as far as the actual entertainment thing, I know how to write and I know how to perform, and I'm obviously always trying to evolve that. But even recently, Dave Reardon, he came over and made the lighting look better and added more depth. And so I'm wanting to make it look nicer, not just be funny or entertaining. It's got to look nice and all that stuff. So I'm still learning.
Yeah, it helps. There are people who grind it out and their set is, their set and they never change it and they do fine. But it's a little bit easier to watch, especially when you're starting out. You retain viewership a little bit longer when it just looks a little bit nicer.
I feel like one of the big things with social media is like stacking layers of validity. That's what I did on my Instagram. Was like the first thing I tried to get was like an affiliate code, just so that I could have it in my bio. I didn't care about I've got 3,000 people on my Instagram. I'm not going to make any money through that.
Yeah.
But when you come to the page, like, oh, this isn't Jacob Tackett's page. Yeah. This is a thing. He has an affiliate code. Like it was a
Jake Tackett 69 at bigoil.com.
Exactly bigoil.com.
Sponsored by
website.
Big Oil. Yeah. That was my thing. I had a little podcast program a few years back. Basically, it was during COVID and I needed the money.
Yeah.
But that was my whole thing is I never had like a real sponsor for the show, so I'd always just make up Big Oil or Big Tobacco or,
So what drove you, we were talking kind of off camera a little bit about being in the military. What drove you from Marines into like doing media at all?
I got kicked out of college.
Hell yeah.
I was
Aiden,
just...
you taking notes, Aiden?
Yeah. No, I went to college after I got out of the military, and I got kicked out. And I told the story on Eli's show. I can give you a summarized version if you're interested.
Sure.
But I punched a guy at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. I was sober. And it was a self-defense thing. Yeah. But I did intentionally, but I must have said something to piss him off. And he kind of cornered me, and then I gave him a few chances. I tried walking away. He was blocking me, and I put him on the ground, threw a couple knocks at him. Next thing you know, I'm in the San Antonio jail. And, all I knew about...
For punching a guy?
Yeah, I punched him.
What do you mean just for punching a guy?
Well,
I mean, people get in fights all the time. It's a waste of time to throw him in jail.
Well, it was on a college...
Unless somebody's seriously hurt.
It was on a college campus, and, I was right near all these administrators. It was in view of these offices, and they were hysterical. Oh God! I've got. And
they've never seen violence.
She
in their
did,
entire
yes.
life.
And there was a woman. She was like that stereotypical white woman. Yeah. Whereas I remember I'm standing up. The whole thing's over. I'm just kind of sitting there processing everything. And she comes out. She goes, "I've already called the police." And I'm like, "Oh God! All right."
Why?
Thank you.
I can hear that woman right now.
Yeah.
I've already called the police. Don't worry. Everything's taken care of.
2 grown males. No one's bleeding.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
of course, there's a time and a place to bring in.
If it would have happened in most other places, the cops wouldn't have gotten
If you were at a backyard barbecue or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
just been like
nobody got hurt.
If there weren't hysterical white women.
Why is that a thing? Like the second that it's outside of the bar, like street fight that kicks off, where it's like 2 frat guys in their flip flops getting in an argument with each other.
Yeah.
It's just like immediately there's a woman just screaming.
Oh yeah.
Like totally uninvolved, maybe one of their girlfriends, but just hysterically screaming.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like it's
Don't
just always.
do it, Brad.
Yeah, it's Brad. Don't do it, Chad. Don't do it, Chad. No, Chad.
It's that old viral video of the 2 gorillas beating the shit out of each other in the zoo, and you just hear some white woman going, "Somebody call the zookeeper!" Like, what the fuck is he gonna do?
What's he gonna do about it?
Of the lady with the ducks in Northern California?
No.
Did you guys see this?
No.
There's like these ducks that are just establishing their normal pecking order.
Just
Yes.
Because they're ducks.
Yes.
And
As
so,
any animal
one
kingdom.
of them is pecking at another one, and that one's trying to get away, and the other one keeps chasing it around.
Trying to
and
get laid.
They're being assholes to each other because they're ducks. And this lady just goes absolutely berserk. It starts yelling at the duck as if it's gonna listen to her. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. She follows the duck and then
Hey! Get off of her! Stop it! God damn it, get us a net!
the ducks see her following them, so they just start swimming away, and they're swimming along this boardwalk, and she keeps following them and following them. She commandeers this fishing net from some guy that's just like fishing there, and she goes into the water and is trying to get the duck that's being mean to the other duck.
When PETA becomes violent.
Dude, and I just thought, Society is crumbling.
Snow White has irreparably damaged white women.
Don't explain to that woman how ducks have sex with each other. I remember being high in high school one time. We were smoking a blunt in the park.
Well, if you've
by
ever
the
owned
duck pond.
chickens, it's pretty much the same thing.
The male duck would come in and just do his thing and like peck the shit and fly off, and you'd watch him like fly around for a second and like maybe dip his like nuts in the water, and then he'd come over and fucking hit another one, dude.
Oh.
But anyways, so college campus, you punch a guy, they kick you out,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I got kicked out of college, and then
That's a handle.
I'd been building. I'd been thinking about entertaining the idea of going and
punching a guy in front of college.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Blowing my life up in front of the administrator, dean's office.
This is before YouTube became like something you could monetize. So literally, you had to choose trying to be an actor or a writer or whatever. I wanted to be a writer.
Yeah.
Thought I was going to be Ernest Hemingway.
You are in my heart.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, I do mostly sketch comedy, dick and fart jokes. I started my own, like, back then blog. It was a blog, and I was just telling. Back then, Tucker Max stuff was all the rage.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just went with that same template, short stories, but you're supposed to write about what you know. I had just gotten out of the military, and I saw some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Being this simple kid from Minnesota, being thrown into this cage with people from every corner and background you could imagine in this country, and sometimes they weren't even from this country.
Yeah.
And you just see the funniest shit. I always, like you alluded to earlier, I always tell people, like, every comedy writer should go spend a week in an infantry platoon, and you'll have material forever.
The funniest, you deal with so much trauma that's inside of that, like inside of those environments. You're getting a lot of trauma, which is making you like funny. But also, like, what in your life...
And Justin Governor's TBI makes him funny, too.
That's true. It's very true.
It was something that I talk about when you start talking about, like, veterans and PTSD and stuff. It's like, well, you're already looking at people that probably had a lot of childhood trauma to begin with, like unprocessed childhood trauma, because...
High rate of it there.
What made you want to be an infantry guy? Every guy I was around in, like, combat arms had a rough childhood, and they were kind of naturally funny. And then you start stacking that, like, dark humor on top of it, and there's no rules. Like, you can make any joke about anything you want. There's no, like, no one's going to get in their feelings.
There's no off limits. And people don't realize the boredom is what spurs that as well. Yeah. Like, you just have to find shit to talk about, because especially back then, we didn't have phones to keep ourselves entertained. We had a communal hustler. Everyone shared the jerk, and
Just a good old sticky page hustler.
We were sitting, the
Just
Max
don't go
Bros,
to page 25.
the new trucks.
Okay.
It's my page.
So
it's my girl.
We're sitting on this OP in Afghanistan, and then I'm like sitting in the driver's seat, like just half awake at 3:00 in the morning, whatever. And I'm talking to the staff sergeant that's sitting over in the TC seat, and he's telling me about cooking meth and like his like childhood trauma. And we hear that our gunner was this dude named O'Neill, one of the most like solid human being, well intentioned, dumb as a brick, dude. And we hear this like coming through the headset. And finally Sergeant goes, "What the fuck are you laughing about?" And he's like, "I just came." Oh my God. He's just back there with his headset on, listening to our conversation, just had a truck wank. You're just listening to us talk, man. Like, you don't have a phone. There was no, like, you didn't have any, like,
just back there working it,
dude. Back there working it, dude.
You will do it inches away from another man without them knowing. Yeah.
I woke up one morning in the tent.
The sneaky spank.
We were both sitting in the tent, and it was like me on one end of the tent and my buddy on the other end of the tent, and we both had our computers up. And I'm like, I'm just on Facebook, like just, messages some hoes back in the States. And I like go to bed, and I wake up in the morning, and my buddy comes up to me, and he's like, "I'm really glad that you didn't see me last night." I was like, "The f*** are you talking about?" And he was like, "I was jerking off the whole time." And I was like, "We were making eye contact with each other. We were 10 feet away from each other. Like, what do you mean?"
I thought you were scratching your balls or something.
And he was like, "No, I kept looking at you to see if you were catching me." Like, stop looking at me, dude. Like, just do what you're gonna do over there.
And now you're telling me about
don't
it?
Tell me about it.
You're happy you got away with it, but now you're telling me?
I love, like, when you go down range originally, where John's all have that, like, white lid on the top of them.
Yeah.
It's like when you first get down range, you're, like, real shy about it. And then, like, 3-4 months in deployment, you just laptop underneath your arm, not giving a
man. I saw the best meme. It was like a porta-john that had filled to the brim, and it just said, "Military guys will see this and say, 'Hell yeah, I'm gonna jerk off in there.'"
It's 142 degrees. You were having an out-of-body experience trying not to pass out because you can't drop your phone into this
That is another great duffel blog headline from the past. Casualty assistance officer has the unfortunate job of explaining that these people's son died jerking off in a porta shitter.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Heat exhaustion.
Yeah.
That's for real though. You don't have to David Carradine yourself. Like you get enough oxygen depletion from how hot it is inside the porta john.
Yeah. I was in an armored vehicle, so that gave you some more options.
Yeah, there you go.
luckily, Yeah.
Real loud when it's rolling down the road too. So
Yeah. Oh, you would do it to stay awake. It wasn't even a sexual thing. It's like I need to do something to stay awake.
So
Yeah.
Gotta keep my hands busy.
No, I've done it. I've done it.
that's why I think Generation
I
Kill
was
is
trying
like
to keep this one above board.
never. That's why Generation Kill is the best like encapsulation of what
The best
life is.
military dialogue. I wasn't gonna watch it because I was like, it's gonna be
No,
dumb.
they did a great job.
That's what it sounds like when everyone's stuck in a truck together.
And they come over. There's like that one scene when I think they're like getting ready to move out real quick out of nowhere, and they come over and he yells like you f***ed up my truck, Jack. Like
Yeah.
he's like standing in the gun turret on guard. Like
I've done it to
awake.
stay awake on watch as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
if you've never stood on the side of a mountain in a foreign country and left your seat in the dirt, like, you know what you're missing.
I never did Afghanistan, so I did a lot of desert dirt. Yeah. I did.
International farmers over
Yeah.
here.
International Farmers of
Yeah.
America.
We're the only ones with thermals. All right,
Yeah.
they don't know.
Yeah. You better hope somebody else on watch doesn't veer over.
Man.
Doesn't matter. He's doing it too.
Yeah, he's just
Yeah.
making eye contact with
More
you
than
while he's
likely,
doing it.
yeah.
I'm super glad you didn't see me.
All right, so you started this blog.
God, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's okay.
No, this is great.
Those are things I wrote about. Those are things I wrote.
It's true. It is
Yeah.
what it is. Like it means it's a weird world.
I really was this kind. I mean, not that I was an angel or some innocent by any means, but compared to a lot of these guys, you know, Minnesota suburbs is a lot different from being from South Boston and East LA or bumfuck Oklahoma. You know what I mean? So I met this wild cast of characters, and I just kind of told these stories of my time in the military. And then that evolved into getting actual writing jobs, and then I evolved into. Then I was writing sketches and stuff for YouTube and animated stuff, and then we made the movie, and now I was in a movie, and then now people wanted to cast me in other projects, and then here I am. Now I'm a guy with a fucking 15-minute average YouTube show, history show, yeah.
Well, you skipped a lot in between there. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I thought about recently writing it down, but like the Minnesotan in me, because you know how Minnesota culture is, where it's like anything you do to own your success is looked at as bragging. And so I literally wanted to write down like year by year all the like the different things because I've done. I wrote a fucking women's empowerment speech one time for a all-female audience. They had no idea that this motherfucker is what brought the room to emotions.
Wait, you started the transgender movement?
What was the like touch point in that? Do you remember?
It was you know how DC there's a gala everywhere all over the place, and it was for a women's veteran conference, and so they had all these high profile. No men were allowed there, even the wait staff was female. They didn't want a man in the room. Is to talk about veterans, women's, and they do. They have a lot of unique issues.
Yeah.
But the person that was the host she wasn't a veteran. She was like a local sports anchor.
Okay.
She was like Ron Burgundy. She couldn't read anything unless it was given to her. And so I got assigned to do this, and I had a few female friends that were veterans, and so I kind of picked their brains a bit, and then I wrote this speech about issues women face in the military, which I never experienced because I'm a dude.
You just imagine you at your house, like putting lipstick on with some playing, trying to like get in the mood, like stroking your hair.
Celine Dion.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of candles everywhere.
Dimly lit, just
What
really
does a-
feeling the vibe.
Brand new hot E2 feel like when she shows up to her first
God,
unit.
it's such a hot sergeant over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Why are all the porta johns sticky?
Yeah.
So you lived in both LA and DC, right?
I lived in Southern California when I was in the military, and yes, I did live there after the military as well. I had a short-lived doing the LA thing, but that didn't last more than a year. So yeah, I lived in Orange County.
Okay.
But as far as my work in LA, I've just always been a commuter.
Oh, okay.
So
didn't know that.
whenever there's a job, I go out there, stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lived in DC for about 2 years as well, which LA and DC are very similar communities culturally. You're never going to have a real conversation. Well, if you find the right group, you will, but there's so many fake suckers in both those goddamn cities.
Yeah.
And the people that are from Northern Virginia, Southern Maryland are great. The people that are from LA are great. It attracts a lot of pieces of shit though.
Yeah.
And those are the people I unfortunately in both places have had to deal with the most. So again, I'm good. I like going back to DC. I got places I like to eat but I would never want to, I don't belong in that community.
Same thing in LA. I lived there for 12 years.
Yeah,
and the reason why I lived in a town called Downey for 5 of those was because I finally...
That's a nice drive.
It's actually, our studio was in downtown, so it actually wasn't that far.
Okay.
Because it's on the south side of the city, and it's only about 15 minutes when traffic's normal.
Yeah.
To get back and forth, 20 minutes. And I liked living there because the people that lived there, it was just people that were from there that were just working, doing normal life stuff. It wasn't like Hollywood. I lived in Hollywood for a year. That was wild.
Where every
so
conversation is networking. Even when you think it's a conversation, they're networking you. And the second they find out you have nothing to offer them, they're looking around the room for the next person to talk to.
Wow, this has been a great conversation. I gotta go talk to this person over here.
That's how SHOT Show feels to me too.
That is what SHOT Show is.
When I go to
That's why we
SHOT
just sit
Show,
at the gambling table.
yeah, when I go to SHOT Show, I won't wear my badge.
Yeah.
I'll just like hold it in my hand, and like the people that you have to get through a little area, I'll just show it to them as I walk by.
I'm here from the cement convention.
Because I like hate when you're talking to someone and the whole time they're like reading your thing, trying to figure out if you're like worth their time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep. Yeah. The only times I do SHOT Show is I just go out, I do shows there. And I'm in and out. I show up to the hotel. I stay in the hotel. I go do the show, socialize with people I know, and then I'm fucking out.
Well, I saw you host the one of the stand-ups there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The thing that
was really fun.
Governor headlined. Yeah. Yeah. That was great. Yeah.
Your comparisons to your great-grandfather's Civil War diaries.
Yeah.
To your tweets.
I was starting to piss off.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. My 15-year-old great-great-grandfather who wrote eloquently about what it was like to experience war as a 15-year-old, and then me, a 41-year-old man, talking about how much I hope the Chili's car wins at Daytona.
The funny thing is they didn't have public education back then, and they still learned how to
they were
write
cursive,
eloquently.
and they were
Or they went to those K through 12 little single unit places. Yeah.
They all had like a vocabulary,
Yeah.
Everyone now it's abbreviations. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and like I don't know what she's saying to me like
speak in
90% of the
hieroglyphics.
time.
Yeah.
It's meme emojis.
It is. She'll just hit me with a bunch of abbreviations and then like some like meme joke, and like I don't know what you're saying to me. Are you mad? Like, are you mad right now?
I communicate in GIFs a lot of the time.
Yeah.
That's funny. And then after all that, you ended up doing a bunch of work with BRCC for years.
Yeah. I was, I've known them all since before it was a thing.
Yeah.
I never came on board though until 2019.
Yeah.
So I lived here in San Antonio, but I was like, I'm doing my own thing. I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened. I was like, hey, remember you talked about me coming on full time? I think this is because I lost like 70% of my work.
Yeah.
So like, I think this is a good time for me to come on full time. So I've been full time since COVID.
That offer sounds really great.
Yeah, it sounds really good. I'm not as independent as I thought.
They didn't even really start the thing until late 2019, and then I think JT was
The San Antonio.
Yeah.
If 2014.
That's when it was.
Yeah, 2015 is when they really kicked off.
Yeah, that's right.
I got
my history wrong there.
And then 2018 they moved to San Antonio, and that's how Jared and everybody else ended up down here.
Yep. And then Corridor did the first video with them in 2019.
Yeah, and then you were here. That's the first time I met you, and then I started seeing you more. I thought you live in LA. I was like, oh no, I moved here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was already looking to move.
Yeah.
And I was debating between going back to Minnesota or go to
Or
where?
a state with no state income taxes.
Or, yeah, right. And it wasn't just that, but then it was the whole idea of like no state income tax. There's people here that do what I do.
Yeah. It's not -20.
Yeah, it's not -20. And the only other places at the time, really, your options were LA or New York.
No.
Those were the only hubs for YouTubers at the time. Now there's hubs that have cropped up
So
all
great.
over.
That's happening in that's happening in traditional film and television, right?
Yeah,
they're
that's
not
true,
people
too.
don't have to choose between LA and New York. It's like, oh no, I can have a very nice life living in Atlanta and be constantly working.
Yeah.
Or Louisiana.
Yeah.
I
Nashville's now cropped up. There's a lot going on there.
I think this area is super interesting. I feel like we're slowly bringing in kind of everyone from our kind of bubble of things. Like everyone is slowly moving.
Oh, those range days,
San
they
Antonio,
spend a couple days here and they're like, this is
This
a
is
lot
bad.
nicer than the urban hellhole I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, San Antonio kind of.
Yeah, they get
Yeah.
on Zillow at the airport and they're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
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 And so that's why I came out a few months later.
Yeah.
Because I was already looking like somewhere between Austin and here, and then
Which Austin makes complete sense if you're in any...
well, Rooster Teeth was there at the time.
Yeah, I met
had a huge-
Josh, right?
Josh.
Flanagan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a project for him one time. Yeah.
Yep. And so
Nice
they had a huge operation there. But then this work and meeting you and the other guys, and I just said, well, this seems like a much like better play. Because like I can afford a house and I can work and I can.
You got
it's
land,
only,
man.
It's only
Yeah.
2 hours. Well, it took me a while to get that.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I caught the real estate bubble at the right time, and I like bought right before.
Yeah.
And then I rode that, and then I was able to get that small farm because of that. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're right down the road.
Right.
Yeah. I was telling these guys before you got here that I live downtown San Antonio in a location in a 105-year-old loft, exposed brick,
Yeah.
cool place, cool neighborhood. But most of my social group was up around this area.
Yeah.
And for 5 years, I'm like, why can't I get anyone to come down and hang out with me down here?
It's like 45 minutes away.
Well, and then now that I have lived
It's
out
12
here,
miles and it's an hour to get
yeah. Now that I lived out here, though, like I get it now. Once you're up here,
Yeah.
it's just nice.
It's
yeah.
really nice. Yeah.
It's not even traffic or that the downtown is like a bad downtown. Like out of major cities I've been into, like San Antonio and like the Riverwalk area,
great.
it's great.
It's
It's
fine,
very
yeah.
chill.
Yeah.
There's not a bunch of craziness.
Definitely tourism driven, but they're doing a good job getting locals to spend their money down
It's
there.
just the construction.
yeah.
I can't ever figure out how to get downtown because every time I come down there, there's new T-walls blocking me into like a new like pattern of roads that I'm supposed
That's
to
just
travel
Texas
through.
road construction.
Yeah.
It is
Ridiculous.
it's worse. Somehow it's worse than California.
Well, and that's what I'll say.
I don't know how.
That's what we grew up in Minnesota, where when they start a project, they're getting that done within 3 months, and it's
No,
done.
this is
Yes.
never going to
Yeah.
happen.
Because
every
you can't
time
work in the middle of -20 in the
Yeah, I
end
guess
of
that's true.
January.
but
You can't
they
build
get
a
it
road.
done.
Right. Somehow.
Where here, it's like this has been going on for 8 years.
yeah.
Okay.
It's like
Well, if you didn't make your turnarounds 3,000 feet high,
There is a 2-lane road in Spring Branch, Texas, that they
Good
are
old Spring Branch.
expanding into a 4-lane. Okay, they're just going from 2 to 4. There's no overpass. There's no bridge. There's no huge infrastructural thing that they need to change. They've been working on that since 2019.
I know exactly where you're talking about.
How?
Yeah.
Well, when you're trying to get into downtown from here, because like I'm kind of like living that like single life again where
They
I'm going out
built
downtown.
One World
Yeah.
Trade Center back
They like
in
they,
less time.
Yeah, no, they did. they like divert they divert traffic onto like an alternative route, and you're like, all right, like this is fine. We're still moving fine. And then like literally the next weekend that I'm driving down through there, like now there's also construction on the alternative route.
If you're a single,
what are we doing?
Yeah.
If you're a single guy, I'm not trying to oversell myself here. A lot of people can. I am like the master tour guide of San Antonio.
You want to go hunting with our mustaches?
Well, I got
the same age.
I got a redhead with big jugs. I report to. Yeah.
What's his name?
John.
Caleb.
Nicholas. Yeah.
go with Nick.
Oh man, Caleb would my ass up, literally. I couldn't handle Caleb in the bed. I couldn't handle
Caleb in
Caleb in
a
the
red
bed.
wig.
He's the reason why I'm wearing this nice collared shirt is because he always gets sent these big fancy brands send him free clothing, but they're always too small. So I have anything nice I have is from Caleb.
Now I'm just imagining Caleb at home with like Sarah McLachlan on putting lipstick on.
He might.
Yeah.
He might.
JT getting weird.
I'll tell you what.
I don't know you guys. I'm sorry.
I was single in San Antonio, and I can tell you, I can tell you where to go. Whatever you want, history, food, single life, I can tell you where the best. But if you haven't yet, South Alamo Street and the Blue Star Complex area, everyone knows about the Pearl, but the locals go to the Blue Star Complex. They go to South Alamo Street. That's where all the good local Friday night mixing goes on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jack. I want to get back to some of your content career.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
You did a
I can tell him how to San Antonio. Yeah.
We got 2 segments here.
Yeah.
The after show is Jack's advice.
Yeah.
The after show is always like tame. It's like the YouTube one that gets out of control somehow.
Yeah.
We'll get back into that Ben Franklin shit.
Oh man, dude. We had Nick on, the fat electrician on.
Yeah.
And he went down this whole thing about like what kind of a freak Benjamin
He
Franklin
was. Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
Dude, his whole like thing about like an older woman that like the blood flow settles, like the what is it? The fat leaves their face, but not like their nether regions or
Yes.
something. Like, oh man.
Ben Franklin was the OG American horn dog.
Dude,
Yeah.
do you know about that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't. When Nick deep dives, he deep dives on a different level than I do. But yes, I'm aware of his sexual history.
You should do a video on that.
So you know what? The only reason I have thought about that. The only reason why I haven't is because I'm consuming history stuff, whether I'm reading or YouTube, whatever. I'm consuming a lot. I take for granted that maybe not everybody does because. In my head, the cat's out of the bag as far as that goes, as far as Ben Franklin's sexual stuff.
Absolutely.
It's not though.
Then I should be doing.
You should.
And look, they remake a movie every 25 years. Like it's a retelling
Yeah.
for the next generation of people that haven't heard the story yet from a person that's more relevant to them at that time. Like there's total usefulness in going after some of those stories.
You could do a whole
even though they're
series.
known.
Yeah, you could do a whole
Yeah.
series of the founding fathers. There's so many interesting, like, kind of debauchery things with them.
Well,
that would be fascinating.
We really romanticize, and the campaign wasn't their fault. It happened after most of them died. That was the first period in American history where we were building our identity in art.
Yeah.
And so they really they glossed over the truth in order to present these guys as these godlike figures, which they weren't. They had gigantic egos.
Yeah.
I could go into a whole thing, but like
Do it.
Jefferson and Adams didn't talk to each other for years.
Yeah.
Right up until they died because we talk about, social media is dividing this country. I call bullshit on that because Thomas Jefferson literally created his own newspaper so he could talk shit to John Adams while he was president.
Hell yeah, dude.
And then became the president. Right? So it's just like, no. People have been getting into these. Dude, I mean, the vice president of the fucking United States shot the Secretary of Treasury and killed him. And
But they went to an island where it was still kind of okay.
And we're like, Marjorie Greene Taylor said this. I'm like, yeah, she's a wacky. He's not shooting the Secretary of Treasury.
We might
Mutual comment.
Yeah.
we might get somewhere if we go back. Okay?
Yeah. Dan Sickles, a sitting congressman, murdered the son of the guy who wrote the Star Spangled Banner, Francis Scott Key, this guy was the fucking attorney. He was the chief attorney in Washington, D.C. He was banging Sickles' wife, which, by the way, Sickles was every prostitute from D.C. to England. But like he found out his wife, who he married when she was like 15 and he was 32, which even back then was shady as dude. He found out this guy was banging his wife. Shoots the guy in broad daylight at Lafayette Square, which, if you know the geography of Washington, D.C., right across from the White House.
He just walked out of his office.
Yes,
not today.
Shot him dead, put his gun down, walked to the fucking Secretary of State's house and turned himself, or the Attorney General's house, and turned himself in. He was the first case in American history to be acquitted based off of temporary insanity.
Wow.
Do you know who was giving him legal
crime of passion?
This happened in 1855.
Hot-blooded crime of passion.
Do you know who he wasn't one of his lawyers, but he gave him a lot of legal advice?
Lincoln.
A good friend of his who Sickles was a Democrat, Lincoln was a Republican. Lincoln. They were buddies.
So the uniparty's been a thing from the jump, dude.
And so why does this Democrat, which, again, we think Democrats and Republicans are so divided. No, they started a Civil War back then. Yeah. Then you had these Union Democrats and Southern Republicans. The whole thing was out of whack.
Oh yeah, and that took like 100 years for the parties to draw a clear line there.
Yeah, that was like a Nixon era thing. Yeah.
I mean, since the Civil War to like Johnson, that was like, Dixiecrat or whatever.
Nixon's the one that kind of redefined Republican lines.
That was in the 70s.
Yeah. But
it took 100 years.
Sickles
move slow here.
Sickles becomes a top dog general in the Union Army, not qualified at all. He was a congressman before that who murdered a guy.
That's where I've heard his name.
I did an episode on him.
He was a Union general.
Yeah, he almost single-handedly lost the Battle of Gettysburg, and then when he was a congressman later after the Civil War, gave himself a Medal of Honor.
Dude, you got to do a whole. This is the thing, man. You got to just expose all of, because like there's this feeling in America today that like we've lost control of the government and the politicians have all gone sour and like that it's like more broken than it's ever been. It's always been fucking broken.
Because there was such a simpler time.
Yeah.
Like when the 1950s, they showered once a week back then. Everybody stunk, and you had to do separate water fountains.
Yeah.
Like
they were hosing black people down with fire hoses just because they wanted to eat lunch.
Because they wanted.
You think you're getting a BLT in here today, boy? And the entire fire brigade is out. Like
they're pouring acid in the pool.
Seriously,
people are. If you take the internet out of the equation, people are way kinder to each other these days. Yeah.
Well, it's not even. Don't take the internet out of the equation. We act like there's this great conflict between us because someone says something mean to you on Twitter, and it's like they used to pour acid in
right exactly
tar and that was like one of my favorite like history things that I learned when I was a kid was like the run out of town on a rail tar and feather thing.
It
was like the tar and feather.
That was a violent practice.
Yeah, like if they tar and feathered you, that would probably kill you. And if it didn't, when you were put on a rail to be run out of town, the rail was cut in a point to where it would split you.
Yeah.
As they ran you out of town. So like the townspeople would just come together and be like,
horrible.
You're dying.
We're going to turn you into a chicken and then we're going to cut you in half as we run you out of town and then just leave you on the outside of
It used to be a proper country.
This was, what was they running people out of town on a rail? Like, not that long ago.
Yeah, mid-20th century. Yeah.
I'd say maybe in Alabama in the 50s still.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mid-20th, 1950s.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's still figuring out
terminology's hard,
is.
all right? I'm not that smart.
No, Jack, you need to deep dive on all of this because like, do you know how many times that I've watched a video on a subject and then I'll see another video by somebody else named almost the same thing and I'm like, what does this guy have to tell me now?
Absolutely.
That's true.
I'm trying to find there's so much AI stuff, like documentary AIs on YouTube now. I was trying to watch, I like to watch ranching documentaries and dude, one of them almost got me the other day and it was just like AI movie with voiceover that was also AI.
I feel like human beings will, it's new and fun to us right now. I feel like we will eventually, AI is going to dominate. There's no doubt about that. But we're gonna value realism. We're gonna reject.
Well, yeah, it's a tool.
Exactly.
It's a tool to make the process. Of course, everybody uses it in some way, shape, or form. But the point is you still want at the end of the day somebody who's a person that's relating to you as a human being to tell you a story.
Yes.
And of course you can use all the tools you want to get to that point, but when you cross the threshold of like the entire thing being computer generated imagery and then the voice being AI generated.
And we're gonna reject that.
I couldn't relate to it.
It's the uncanny valley.
I watched it and I tried to like, I guess, and then after 15 minutes, 10 minutes, it was this hour-long documentary. I was just like, I'm not.
It's because it's not actually creative.
Yeah.
It's regurgitative.
Yeah.
It's not creative. And like we're always gonna want that Shakespearean like spark behind whatever it is that you're like engaging with.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so hell bent on writing my own episodes, is because the computer will never be able to replicate my voice. But what I do use it for is fact checking. It's a great tool for fact checking.
I mean, it's great even to get yourself a template just so you can get the concept going off the ground.
Yeah, that's what I like using Grok for
it's
that.
good for that. Of course, take that and then be like, okay, these are the points. This is kind of the framework. Now I'm going to take this and make my thing with it.
Yeah, so I did attempt that once, and again, I could get better at using it, but I found I spent more time on it than I did.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if that's your process and you find that it's quicker and more authentic for you to do it the other way, then do it.
Yeah.
The cool thing with
no right
Grok
answer
is
there.
Grok will give you it'll give you a full script that you could just literally read if you wanted to.
That's
but it
what I
gives
was
you
watching the other night.
Yeah, it gives you that kind of framework, timeline of I'm going to start here and end here. But I think the coolest thing that it does is it provides you links for your B-roll.
Yeah, so that's another.
I don't have to go deep dive for B-roll for 5 hours. I'm just right here. I have all the stuff that I need, and I can 4K download it and grab what I want for the video.
And I appreciate that when it does give you ChatGPT cites the sources, so I can go and confirm and fact check the ChatGPT.
Yeah.
That's the
because it
scary
actually
thing
cites
now.
the sources.
Right.
Is the control, what does Google have? 86% of statistics are made up on the spot, but Google owns 86% of the internet or something like that.
Depends on how you break it down, but yeah.
Yeah, but at what point?
And then
is there,
there's Ask Jeeves.
Yeah. It's just holding on.
You got Google. I
just
think
one-
that's 50 to 60% in terms of server.
Then you have Amazon.
And then you have AWS,
Yeah.
which is another 30.
But at some point,
40%, and then there's everything else.
we all love using ChatGPT and Grok and the AI things to just quick hit, give me some research, fact check this thing real quick. At what point is there a censorship there where you don't even know that you're being lied to anymore? Which there used to only be but so many printing presses and so many newspapers and so many people that could read, and so you've always been misled.
That's always something we're gonna have to combat against. I mean,
Misinformation, but we can talk about the history. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
But the history
You're
of
the guest.
misinformation, this is not new.
Yes.
We've been fed bullshit since people wrote.
Lay it on me, Jack.
Well, I mean, I look at it, and I'll just keep this brief, but I look at the era we're going through right now with AI as
Send it.
This is how our ancestors felt when they witnessed the invention of the Gutenberg printing press, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, everybody can get their shit out there all of a sudden.
Yeah.
We're just going through another iteration of that. Yeah. But the printing press, when that was invented, that changed everything. It had the potential to bring the church down.
Well, look, the printing press was invented in 1440?
Yeah, 15th century, I believe, yeah.
And then 100 years later, you're in the middle of the Reformation.
Yeah, because Martin Luther could say, this is and get it out there to the masses.
This is, when my kid was younger, I used to lecture her about important keynotes in human development and history, and Martin Luther is one that I think is consistently glossed over and never talked about. Martin Luther nailing that to the church door changed the course of human history because he provided intellect, information, critical thinking to the human masses that had never existed before.
I'm reading a book on the Scotch-Irish and how they came
great topic.
It is. It's fascinating because
coming
they
to
actually
their immigration to the United States or in general.
The whole concept of where the Scotch-Irish came from and how they influenced America and the expansion.
They were our first working class.
Yeah. I mean, they came just
paid working class.
Yeah.
There it is.
They came out of lowland Scotland primarily. They went to Northern Ireland, which is still its own part of the Commonwealth today. And then they were there. And then after about 100 years, they had a plantation there called the Plantation of Ulster that was started by King James. And then they started coming over to America. And then when they got to America, they were like, so we're good at farming and kicking out the natives. What do you need us to do? And they were like, that way.
Appalachia, baby.
Build the railroads. Yeah.
And I don't mean to be brutal about that, but that's just the way that it was.
That's why the Melungeons have a ton of Scotch-Irish in them because they were just kind of thrown into the mountains, figure it out over there.
Yep. And then when Spain had Texas and they wanted to colonize it basically from the Comanches, they grabbed the Scotch-Irish from southeastern United States, brought them in there, and that they did what.
And then they started thinking, why don't we make this our own place?
Yeah.
And then we got Canelo.
Yeah, right.
You know, it'd be a cool video just because personal thing. Have you ever heard of the Melungeons?
Yes. So I did something where I kind of covered the history of Appalachia.
Yeah.
Appalachian people will scold me in the comments section for not
We
pronouncing
call it Appalachia in Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly. I did touch on that, and I did not go into detail about that for time's sake.
Yeah.
But you're like the third or fourth person to tell me.
Well, I'm a Melungeon. My
Oh, really? I didn't
yeah,
know that.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't have the bump or
You're from the
anything,
Shenandoah. That
yeah,
makes sense.
my granddad's from like Eastern Kentucky. Grew up coal mining in the Appalachians, so he was like super proud about being a Melungeon, but also like kind of racist, which is a confusing thing.
Didn't know what it was, but
Honestly, no. I have to write an episode.
But the word literally means mixed breed.
right.
No,
We're literally a people
We talked
of like,
about this.
yeah, and he
Yeah.
was like, well, I don't really like
I
them black
guessed
people,
that.
but they're
But
part of you.
Etymologically, on French.
I want to do more episodes on Appalachian culture simply because it seems like Appalachian. I found that what works well is if you can hit a group of people that have a lot of pride in what they
Yeah.
are, either whether it's region, ethnic, whatever, they'll frickin' embrace
And
it.
there's a ton of pride in like the Appalachian Mountains.
Man, and
People
it's
are
a
super proud.
large chunk of land.
If you start digging into the Melungeon stuff, there's really cool legends about where they come from, like the lost colony of Roanoke and like Virginia Dare.
Yeah.
It's like one of the theories of like.
Is
where
that
the Melungeon
easily?
people
Is
come
there
from.
any good evidence?
Basically, the idea would have been that they were like taken hostage by the Croatan Indians and just kind of like drug up into the mountains and either ran away from them or interbred with them, because like when they were originally discovered, it was like American culture pushing west, and they bounced into these people that built like Elizabethan kind of like log homes, and they spoke this weird dialect that included like Elizabethan English, but they were like brown
It's like
skinned
Filipino, but it wasn't.
Yeah, and they were like but they just immediately like the white culture was like, I don't know what you guys are. You seem kind of like me, but you're not.
Yeah.
Like, and then the Melungeons kind of come from there. But because of the ethnic cleansing that started to happen within the community and from outside of it,
Yeah.
like there was full on like ethnic cleansing. Like they were trying to eradicate.
Well,
these
yeah, I
people.
mean that was a
They just
very
started-
difficult
yeah.
time in American history.
But they just
I
started
mean,
their oral history and traditions of where they came from, they intentionally as a community stopped passing it down. And they intentionally started trying to like breed themselves wider to be accepted, and like so the actual history of where they came from got lost.
yeah.
But they're like the pre-founders of America, and no one knows where they came from. It's absolutely
Well,
fascinating.
the
to me.
tribes, especially in in the Northeast and in the Southeast too.
Like the Algonquin? Or,
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Iroquois, they were pretty sophisticated.
Yeah.
They weren't just like these savages. I mean,
That confederation, that wasn't something the white man brought to them. That was their
No.
whole political system.
yeah, and so
Savages.
it totally makes sense that as people started to land on the eastern seaboard, they had a few stragglers that they pulled into their culture,
Yeah.
and that happened before westward expansion.
Yeah.
You hear about that all the time, too. Runaway slaves would end up in these tribes and
Yeah.
intermarrying, and
Yeah.
obviously white people, and it just,
And imagine, I mean, like the entire story of like Virginia Dare and the Roanoke colony that gets left there, right? Like the father has to leave and he goes back to England or wherever. I don't remember. I'm not the best with the history on it, but like he goes back for like supplies essentially. And so he comes back, like a year and a half later, and like everyone's gone.
Yeah.
Like imagine like you've come over and like this is an entirely new world. You don't understand. And like I've been to the actual like island where the colony was. There's just nothing. Like it's just this little island in the middle of kind of nothingness. Like you would immediately try to interact if the locals weren't just hunting you immediately.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna need you to survive.
The even the winters in Virginia there are a whole different level than
Yeah.
Europe, so they didn't know how to grow shit.
Yeah.
They needed consulting from the natives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the legend is that they carved Croatan on the tree as like a last ditch, like this is who killed us thing. That's like how the story is typically told. But like maybe they were just saying like this is where we went.
We did a short film series called Tether at Corridor about 15 years ago, and the whole concept was that there was this city of Roanoke that had been lost, and the people were basically trying to rebuild civilization in a post-apocalyptic world where but this concept of Roanoke being this mysterious lost place from which the knowledge that the people had came from was kind of
cool.
an underlying basis for the script.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me too because there's Roanoke Island, and then there's Roanoke, Virginia.
Yeah.
And there's Roanoke, Virginia is like it's not deep in the Appalachians, but it's like in the heart of that area. It's very bluegrass. Like it's very like
Yeah.
it's an interesting, like, how did those two things end up being named the same?
There's a similar story in the history of Texas, where there was the last chief of the Comanches was his name was Quanah Parker, and his mother was taken as a small girl by the Comanches, and eventually gave birth to him, and he was the last chief that the Comanche Nation had. But yeah, it was a very similar story. It was just like, they would take kids of a certain age that were like too old to cry and be too much of a burden, but too young to remember their upbringing.
Sure.
And they would assimilate them into their tribe.
Man, what a brutal, like, humanity when you really look back on us. Like, we're going to kill the babies because I don't want to deal with that, and we're going to kill 12 and up because you're going to fight me.
Yeah.
But 7.
Yeah.
You're one of us now.
Yeah, it was kind of between the ages of like 3 and 8.
No,
wild.
dude, there's literally a eugenics gene campaign going on right now.
American Eagle, how dare you start this for
I'll
us?
tell you what, I feel like I'm pretty good about not, getting riled up by things I see on the internet, because the whole point of the internet is people make money from riling people
Rage
up.
bait,
Especially
baby.
on
It's-
Twitter.
Yeah. But I did see that. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I just like the fact that American Eagle was like, and doubling down.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the fact that Sydney Sweeney was like, we talked about it in the last episode, but Sydney Sweeney got caught being a registered Republican out of Florida.
Caught.
Yeah, she got caught.
You've been caught.
But I mean, she's a starlet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
Caught
a no-no
being a
line.
Republican.
And she doubled down on it. She just went to the first kind of conservative thing she could go to and went to Terran's Ranch and shot guns and was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I am what I am.
I
Like,
saw
good for
something
you.
on Twitter. It was super funny. It was like, liberal women are super mad at Sydney Sweeney, so they decided to uncover the fact that she shoots guns and works on old muscle cars.
Yeah, it's like, so we all love her more.
Men's attractiveness for her.
I wonder, because the Hollywood of old was, for the most part, a pretty purple industry.
Yeah.
It still is on the crew side.
Very much on the cruise side.
The crew side can go either way, and the Democrats are like the Democrats we grew up with. They're very blue collar.
Yeah.
They're not like liberal.
Yeah, my dad was like what you'd call like a blue
DFL guy.
blue
General,
dog, DFL.
yeah.
That's how West
He wanted
Virginia is.
shotguns and
I
weed,
love
but
the
also
governor of
believed in
West
labor
Virginia,
rights.
dude.
Yeah?
I don't know which road I should go on. No,
Talking about Mansion?
well, what we were just talking about, I just thwarted my own thought. But anyways,
Yeah.
But in Hollywood, I don't really understand when that kind of transition into kind of the modern idea of this left Hollywood that we have, because I don't think the Republicans went away. I just think they started keeping their mouths shut.
Well, that's true. I mean, I think the world is different in the sense of like who makes what and who controls what than it was, I think, 50 years ago. A lot different. I mean, you have these.
Do you think it was the 70s, 80s when it
Well, you have
started
these
moving
huge,
a little to the left?
I mean, you have 80s action films, which are very like masculine, overly
John,
masculine.
what's his name?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, but they
But
still
the,
do that. They still
the,
Hollywood makes all of their money off of guns and violence while yelling at you about owning a gun.
Because I don't think those, but I don't think
Well,
I don't think
fair.
those executives are hyper political either way. I think it's just the talent.
I think it goes well. Yeah, there's a couple things, and this is just like my layman's perspective.
You know the talent better than anybody.
I mean, you have big money groups and big money individuals on both sides of the political spectrum, and that particular industry is part of the left side of the big money groups.
Yeah.
And so in order to climb the greasy ladder that is the talent system for Hollywood, because honestly, the talent have nothing. The talent are like the least respected.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you start out. I mean,
For every Tom Cruise, there's 10,000 guys that you may have
100,000.
recognized their face, but they're maybe at best making $40,000 a year.
yeah. I mean, it is rough. I mean, 90% of the work goes to like 5% of the talent pool. And that's just the nature of that industry. There's not enough distribution because of the cost of it to provide more work. So you're going, and then of course there's so much risk with every bet you make on a movie. It is way more risky than gambling. The producers that I know who are in traditional film, my hat's off to those guys because they are betting crazy bets, and the way that they develop and produce is like everyone does it slightly differently, but they are really hyper intelligent, a lot of them. And the point is like, in order to climb that ladder, you have to do and say the things that keep your head from being chopped off, because otherwise there's 1,000 other people who would just replace you.
Yeah.
And it becomes this like group mindset where if that's what you're doing and that's what you want to do, this is what you need to say and do. And I think a lot of people, they don't even necessarily feel exactly about how they're saying. They don't necessarily think like, this is my personal belief. They just know that if they say that, then their head doesn't get chopped off.
Yeah. That's why I stick to the indie.
Well, yeah. I mean,
It's also like what makes a liberal. What makes a liberal mindset? Like, you grew up in a nice neighborhood that's low crime. You didn't worry about food or where your next meal would come from, or like whether or not you could go shopping or do things with your friends. And you want the world to be a better. Liberal mindset is a very like it's not a bad mindset. You want the world to be a better place.
No, it comes from a good place. It's just
And it's the
I generally
lineage.
agree. I mean, obviously, you're talking in these huge like total swaths of
but
like
it's
painting with the same brush.
It's the lineage that runs through
But-
Hollywood. There's a passing of the crown through families, and there's people that are kind of propped up because their dad knows this person and that person, and so you just end up in an environment that has a lot of that liberal mindset by nature, and like
Right.
That's why I like the governor of West Virginia. that guy switches parties whenever it's convenient to him, and he carries his beautiful little. He's got an English bulldog named Baby Dog that he
really?
brings everywhere, official state business, so people can't talk shit to him, because who's going to talk shit to a guy with a beautiful, cute little dog with
I
him
know
like
exactly
that?
who you're talking about now.
Jim, I forget his last name.
Yeah.
He's a character.
I didn't know this.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's switched parties like 4 times.
Well, I think people forget that a lot of the time. Is like there's characters like that. I don't know anything about him, but if you just take that and you bring it into the same like concept of, people assimilating into native culture and westward expansion and immigration that we've always had, and like it is truly a mix of everything, and that's one of the greatest things about here.
Yeah.
is like we have that, and I think any denial of that and any restriction on our ability to like make fun of each other and like in a wholehearted way, like we're all on the same team at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But any restriction of that just feels there's such a disconnect. Like you get such a disconnect with if anybody tries to tell you like, hey, this is the way you need to think. This is about these people. This is the way you need to think about these people.
Yeah.
It's like I don't believe it, because I'm actually here living, and that's not the case on the ground.
Precisely. And it's when you hear that whole thing where Europeans give Americans shit because we don't travel the world like they do. It's like
They just discovered immigration 10 years ago.
Yeah, your countries are right next to each other.
I was just about to say, you drive 10 miles and you're in 3 different countries.
Exactly. Dude, like Seattle is a completely different place than Savannah, Georgia. We get to have, within our own borders, extremely cool, different cultural freaking...
Well, that's one of the coolest things about that I always harp on about that is when I didn't like California as a place where I wanted to raise my family.
You had the choice.
I had the choice to leave, and I didn't have to immigrate somewhere else.
Yeah.
I just had to grab my stuff
Yeah.
and my family and move.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Let me ask you this, not
what
to
an
make this a
amazing-
Midwestern-driven show. You know what?
Let's do it.
I flew the coop when I was
Fuck it, we
18.
ball. Me too.
From Minnesota, yeah. But we know where we come from.
Yeah.
I've never had any desire to move back there. I love visiting. My family's still there. I still catch Twins games whenever I can. That's Baby Dog. Yeah.
Baby Dog.
Send this to Chase.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll send it to you guys.
Yeah.
You know what's been creeping up in my mind lately?
Yeah.
I really think I've lived in Texas. I've lived anywhere but Minnesota the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I want to buy a cabin up north
Dude,
and just...
maybe we should timeshare that.
Do you want to?
I mean, kinda,
I'm
yeah.
serious, because for me, it's like if I can find a period where all I'm doing is just jacked history stuff,
Yeah.
and I don't have to
go up
worry
there and
about
bank
like
a bunch of
acting.
episodes, yeah.
Yeah. I could just live up there for 3 months at a time.
I'm super jealous.
Yeah.
I was up.
And then you say, hey, I want to bring the kids and family. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll go hang out with my parents in Minneapolis, or I'll go back to Texas.
I bought a. I was
set
at
up a tent in the backyard and look at the
yeah.
I was in Pengilly,
see me.
Minnesota.
I'm not familiar with that.
It's up north in the Iron Range.
Oh, okay. I haven't
And
spent that much time up there.
I bought a shirt from a bait shop up there, and I almost wore it today because it's just. I thought you'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to go that far north because that's 3. 4.
Bemidji's fine.
Yeah, Bemidji's fine. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
And then I'll go up there in the summer when my kids are off school. And
And I got no problem living up in there in the winter. It's not the cold of Minnesota that is the reason why I'm not up there. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I
it's the state income taxes.
well, dude, for me personally, it's the state income taxes, and then culturally, I just found my heart is way more in the culture here. Just personally.
I'm the same as you, and again, it's very endearing up there. I love that Lutheran Scandinavian-based culture, but also it's hard to explain to people that like the reason why I'm like kind of up with like taking ownership and like speaking up for myself is because that culture up there, everything's looked at jantelagen. It's a Scandinavian word. It's
pride.
It's looked at you're bragging if you say, "Hey, I did this." Don't brag. Like I'm not.
I'm just telling you.
I'm
about
telling
this
you what
thing
I just.
did.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
excited
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I was told that all the time as a kid.
Yeah.
And probably some of it was for the best, but also it ingrained in me until I was away enough for long enough, and I could understand the difference between like, no, I'm just.
Yeah.
This is a cool thing, and like
Just telling you about my life.
And in order for me to succeed, I have to take ownership of my successes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's how you build.
And then
Yeah.
he lived in LA where all he did was brag.
That's all they know. That's all they know. Oh my God, I can't tell you how many times. And again, these are indie sets. I can't tell me that what grossed me out. Again, it's not the people that are from there. It's like it's
The people that immigrate.
it's really just the talent side of that
People like
industry.
me.
Yeah.
But man, I can't I'd be out there and I'm just like a low-level indie actor, but because I had like a bigger part, some PA is like flirting with me, and I know it's like you're not doing this because you're interested in me. You think I'm going to get you something someday.
Yeah, you think I'm going to get you a role? Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was difficult to produce there. I mean, and that's not just because of the talent and like the culture. It was also difficult because of the costs and the restrictions.
Right.
Everyone is so jaded to filming.
They're extorting you.
Yeah, everyone thinks, oh, well, if you're filming something and I'm not getting a piece of it, then I'm getting ripped off.
Yeah.
When they did the Bruce Almighty, I think it was the second one. They filmed it not far from where my fire department was.
Yeah.
And a bunch of the paramedics got pulled. They could do like overtime shifts on
Yeah.
the set, and they didn't do anything. They were just there.
Yeah.
But I think they were making $150 an hour. That was just like the
Yeah,
rate.
that's
that kind of stuff.
That's
is
like
wild. It's just the
flat
union
rate.
behind everything. Like
Yeah.
it's
In
the
LA,
same
yeah.
with like the FDNY. Where it's like you're the ladder guy, you touch the ladder. If you touch anything else, someone is going to come yell at you about touching.
Dude,
the thing.
that is when you're on a traditional set. That's
Yeah, like-
they're
Now,
getting
I'm the apple box guy.
There
Why
is
are
a
you touching the
useful.
apple box?
There is a certain usefulness to it, and I get why it's a thing. Because when you get on a bigger set, if you have 300 people on a set, I mean, really everyone has a specific role, and things get really complicated and overly convoluted when people start doing other people's jobs.
Like freelancing.
And the set actually moves faster if everyone just sticks to their lane.
Sure.
And now, granted, there's nuance in that, but as a general rule, that actually helps a large set move faster, just like in an army. I mean,
Yeah,
if you were like, well, I'll just drive the truck because there's no one here to drive it right now.
and then everyone comes out and they're like, where the f is the truck?
Yeah, and then everyone's confused,
Yeah.
and it'd be better to wait the 2 minutes
Yeah.
for the guy to come out and drive the truck. That's his job.
They got the FDNY in some hot water like 5 or 6 years ago.
Why is that?
They saved this family. It was a wonderful wall breach. They couldn't get through the door. There was like a drop bar or something on the door. So they breach the wall and they drag a mom and like a young boy out into like the main part of like an apartment building.
Yeah.
It's like a New York apartment building, you know. But when they drug them out, they're not the take the people outside guys on the crew. So they like left
Oh
them there.
my God.
And then there's guys coming through the door that are like, hey, I'm the hose guy, the ladder guy, the whatever. And so they're walking over them. And then the thing that like put the cherry on top was it was like a black woman and a black kid. And there was like firefighters stepping over them.
Yeah.
And like the thing that the
Not good optics.
Yeah, it wasn't good optics.
just look good in the
But like the
news.
thing that the internet didn't understand is like they drag both of them out and they're unconscious, but they're breathing, they have vitals, and now they're in clean air.
Yeah.
So like someone was going to extricate them and do their thing, but it wasn't good optics. It looked.
Yeah.
It's only a 10-second clip that goes on the internet.
Well,
but it
you
looked,
know, that's kind of the nature of Twitter.
Yeah, I got the FDNY and some shit.
Yeah.
But, and honestly, kind of at the end of the day, like if I drag a little, because he was like a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah.
If I drag you through this wall out of the lobby, I'm not leaving you in the lobby.
No.
You're mine now.
Yeah.
Someone else can do what I'm doing. You're in my arms. You're mine.
And that's
now.
what I mean about nuance. And that's
Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about a life-threatening situation. I'm talking about a
Yeah.
movie set.
But
where
I mean,
the
they
worst thing
got
you're gonna
them-
lose at the end of the day is money.
Low money.
Yeah.
Arguably more important.
You know what I like about
God, that
Yeah.
was dark.
No,
what then? A black child? Is that what you?
Race has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
A child is what we meant.
Yeah.
I just hate all kids.
That's what I did like about, and I'd already been in San Antonio for years, but when we were filming that music video,
Yeah.
the set kind of got out of hand. There was like 60 people out there standing on the street in downtown San Antonio. We got cameras and dirt bikes and with no permits.
Yeah.
And then this San Antonio police squad car rolls by, and I'm like, oh, this is it. They're gonna ask for permits. We're gonna lose this shot, and the cops just wave and then drive off. I'm like, yes, this would never happen in LA.
because they had LA cops are like because there's money being made by the politicians that
Yes.
are in control of the cops. Here in San Antonio, they just went, that's cool.
That's cool. They're making them. That's cool.
Interesting
Music
anecdote.
video.
Interesting anecdote on that. There's a tiny town right outside of East Los Angeles called Vernon. Okay, now Vernon is like the Monte Carlo of LA. It's its own tax system. They have their own police force. There's only like 1,000 people that actually live there as residents, and the entire town is set up as a tax evasion system. So everybody wants to put their businesses there, and they have much looser restrictions than LA. So it's just. And like the streets are tiny 2-lane industrial streets that were built in 1935, and there's just semi trucks everywhere. So it's impossible to get around, but people love it because of the tax. Well, we would go film there all the time because nobody lived there, right? So there's not just people everywhere.
So the weekends are.
It's dead.
Yeah.
And so we would find the railroad tracks, and because there's nobody around for miles, and it's the only place where you can do that type of thing to film a small YouTube video. And there was one time where we were just out there filming, not bothering anybody. We weren't lighting anything off. We were just filming dialogue and like VFX scenes in the middle of a railroad track. And the Vernon PD showed up, and they just go, "Do you guys have a permit?" And we're like, "No." And they're like, "You gotta go." And we're like, dude, it's a Saturday.
It's 5 guys with a single R5C.
Like what? We're just making a YouTube video, and he's like, I know. He's like, I know. It's just that's the municipal policy. Like
Someone above
nobody
me.
films without a permit.
I noticed in Southern Cal, but even all the way down to San Diego, which I haven't seen this in any other state yet, or maybe I didn't notice, but when I was getting Airbnbs out in San Diego, they have very strict no filming policies
very
around
much
that,
so.
which
So-
you don't see that out here.
So to juxtapose that, we go to St. Paul, Minnesota to film this big action piece that we did for Amazon. And we got to film downtown. And I was, on a direct name basis with the person who's in charge of all the filming permits.
Which Minneapolis does have a good history of bringing in big studios.
This was in St. Paul. Same thing, though, at the end of the day. We got to take over a whole block of downtown on a Sunday.
Damn.
Yeah, and we shot
What part of St. Paul were you in?
It was downtown.
No shit.
Yeah, we took over a block of the city, and we had trucks, and we had all these extras, and
Wow.
we had this whole action scene where people were running around with airsoft guns.
That's super
and
cool.
we did another scene the previous day where we had a flamethrower in an alley. And so it's an LP flamethrower. It's not like real, whatever you call it.
Napalm?
Napalm. And we're filming, and everything's fine.
Napalm
We-
sticks to kids.
I've heard it in the jingles before. Napalm likes the sticks to kids.
So anyways.
You exercise to that.
So we had a permit for it, which was really easy to get. And we're just filming. We got about 100 people on set. And first thing that happens, this guy just comes busting out of one of the apartment complex doors into the alley with one of those flip out batons and like boots and like gym shorts and no shirt. And he's like, "What the hell's going on down here?" And we were like, "Oh, we're just filming. Is everything okay?" And he's like, "Oh my God, I thought there was some psycho down here with a flamethrower."
So you're playing with a baton?
So he comes out in boots, gym shorts, and a baton.
He goes, "I'm a firefighter, and I thought there was somebody down here trying to burn up the alleyway."
And I was going to fight that fire with my baton.
Glorious mustache on this human being for sure.
Yeah. He's like fit, and he's like got a mustache, and he's just like ready to kick ass.
I saw that I swear, even though I keep bringing stuff up, I'm not a person that's prone to the rage bait. Well, this wasn't rage bait. It was but it was a firefighter guy, and he was doing a whole thing about how men have no excuse not to be working out this often. I'm like, you work 3 days a week,
and while you're at work, you have
a gym,
24 hours that you are just like, man, I'm so bored. I guess I'm gonna go do some shit.
Like not a knock against firefighters, but I don't want you mother.
No swing.
I don't want you guys giving me a speech on time management. All right.
No.
So anyway, later that day, we're still filming in this alley. We got the flamethrower running, everything. Then the cops show up, and I'm like, oh shit! Like, did we not get a permit or what? And I walk over to them, and it's just two beat cops in a squad car, and they're like, "You guys filming over there?" And I was like, "Yes." And I was just waiting for the question.
Right.
Do you have this permit? Do you have that permit? Do you have this, that? They go, "You good filming over there?" "Yeah." "You using a flamethrower?" "Well, technically it's LP gas. We got a special effects professional. We're good." And he's like, "Cool." What's it for? And I tell him what it's for, and he's like, "All right, have fun.
When's it
Y'all be
coming out?
safe."
I want to watch it.
Yeah.
Can I try it? Like,
They were so chill.
Can I shoot the flamethrower?
It was great. And then we just filmed the scene and got out of there. Before we end the episode, Jack, I want people to know about Jacked history.
Oh yes, thank you.
We haven't talked about it at all.
Yes.
And I think it's a huge thing, super important thing that you're doing right now, and I want people to know about it.
And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was just listening to your inbred
That was the first
royalty.
one.
It's so good.
I assure you, from episode 1 to now 35 or whatever, the lighting and the aesthetics have
It was
gotten
phenomenal.
better. Yeah.
Even that episode is phenomenal.
Isn't that a fun part about the process, though?
I've never, as an actor, you don't have to think about the lighting.
And you don't get to do it on a traditional set or on a traditional piece because you're going to immediately go to the guy who's better at it already.
Right.
And then you don't get to craft it yourself. And that's one of the unique things about YouTube, is you get to really build it handmade for the whole process. So how many episodes in are you?
34, 35. I actually, for the first time, I have 3 uploaded that haven't been released yet. So I'm getting some breathing room here.
Nice.
I'm going to Ireland in
scheduled out.
September, and I'm not touching my phone, so I got to have a little something that can post automatically for that month.
We used to do that at Corridor with the VFX Artist React show when we would go home for the holiday vacation. And we used to call it the meat rack.
Yeah.
Because we'd be spicing meats in the back, getting them ready to pull out. That's a super important part of the process. I mean, YouTube is like any social media game. It's constant and unyielding.
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to manage that process. Otherwise, it'll burn you out super quick.
Yeah. And that's what I'm used to, bless you, I'm used to I hate to say this word, but I'm used to hustling.
Yeah.
Everyone has to hustle.
Yeah.
But this is the first time in a long time in my 10 plus years doing this professionally that there's been some tight moments.
Yes.
Where I'm like, oh, I might not be able to pull this off.
Yep.
But now I'm getting ahead of it.
So what's your favorite thing about the show that you might want to offer to people who haven't seen it?
About the content or my personal experience
Both.
with it? As far as my personal experience is, again, YouTube is a new landscape for me, so I am having a good time kind of figuring out how to navigate that world.
Yeah.
And then again, I have people who know what the F they're doing that I get great advice from, and I see what works. So for me personally, that's the fun part. My favorite part is writing. I'm a writer. That's what I am by trade. Research is actually the best part of writing to me.
Yeah.
It's not the actual writing part. It's getting to absorb the knowledge and think out how you. Because at the end of the day, this isn't an academic show. This isn't. You're not going to come away a subject matter
Edutainment.
expert. It's edutainment. Yeah. So my main goal is to get you to be entertained and then learn something along the way. So unfortunately, I have to cut a lot of things. I don't always get to. Highlight the context that I'd like to, but I have to highlight the context that's necessary so the viewer understands what the F is going on.
You can also experiment with a longer episode to see if people do like that here and there.
That's the plan. Is now that the goal is if I can get 4 episodes in the can and scheduled, then I want to dedicate a whole month to doing like a 45-minute and above.
I mean, Nick has done those and experimented with them, and they've done very well on his channel.
I've seen that, yeah.
So, like anything with YouTube, don't change anything too quickly. It's this process of like adding
Don't click off.
It's adding droplets into the mix,
Yeah.
and then seeing how the mixture changes slowly,
Yeah.
and then perfecting it. But yeah, I would recommend that occasionally.
Right.
Don't just go full into that.
Do you do your whole back end? Do you do all your post production and editing and all that stuff too?
Yeah, I do. Well, I do I do the core of the editing, which again, DaVinci. I know how to communicate.
Same.
I know
I'm just in there like smashing my head against the computer, hoping that it makes a thing that I wanted to make.
Yeah. I mean, I know how to communicate to editors, but the whole me being a hands-on editor is a new thing.
Yeah.
But again, it's not that anyone else can't do it. It's I'm so particular about what I want to see and timing.
Yeah.
Because comedy is
it's
timing.
Yeah.
So I just don't want to be hovering over someone, making their lives miserable, micromanaging them. I'll just do it myself. But yeah, I edit. Peter McGuire has been with me since the beginning as the shooter, and we shoot at his house, and we just changed the color in there. So Peter's instrumental in it. Dave Reardon has been. If I can call you guys up for like big, hard-hitting information I need, but Dave's been around the block, and Dave gives me a lot of great consulting and guidance.
Yeah.
So Dave's very much a part of that. So it's a team of 3, and I have actually a business partner who's a
Awesome.
Childhood friend of mine I've known since I was 10.
Awesome.
So I do most of the
That's
post.
the heavy lift. If you can get to a point where you're able to like research, film it, and then kick it, then like
that's the goal.
The hustle gets smooth, but it's like you research it, film it, and then you're like, oh man, I have 3 days of making this what I want it to be.
We always encourage people who start out to like edit,
do their own stuff,
because then you start to understand what the voice is and how to speak to the people that like your videos, and then you can translate that in technical terms to somebody else once the thing gets really rolling.
And then you get a Chasse Blue that comes along. You got to see the new, we run a show on Pepperbox that's called Cock and Load. That's like, we should bring you out on Cock and Load. That would be a time.
Yeah, we should totally.
But we just go out and like kind of like and play horse on like, just shooting, and like it's the whole point of the show is like the
I got that
banter
new
and,
Glock.
like,
Dude, yeah.
It's just like guys talking, arguing. Do you ever read Calvin Hobbes' comic book?
Oh, I remember the strips in the paper. Yeah,
They would play Calvin Ball where there was no rules and the rules were always changing. They would argue. That's what Cock and Load is. It's Calvin Ball but with guns. Chase just did the new edit on it, and so like the new intro when it comes on, the thumbnail that Dave made, the chicken now. It clucks a bunch and his arm goes down and there's like all these gun flashes and the gun goes off. It looks amazing. I could never do that, dude. He took a still image and made it like a video image with it. It's like
Our boy
a chicken
White
going,
Chain
pop, pop,
is.
pop, pop.
Somebody called me. Can I go on a little rant here?
Hit it.
Okay, I've been around this a long time. I know better than what to take from not to take anything personal from the comments section. I think this Jacked history's with me because it is like an all me thing. So I think I take a different level of pride in it. But someone said something to me that I took issue with, and I didn't respond because I know better than to.
Oh, it's when you type like you spend 20 minutes typing a thing, and then you read it back to yourself, and you're like, I got better shit to do today.
I'm not giving this. I'm not letting them know that they got to me.
You didn't get to me, motherfucker.
This guy called me the most soy person in the gun sphere, and I'm okay being called soy. That's not what offended me. It's like, wait, when have you I'm buddies with gun
You're gonna Jason.
Tuber. I'm gonna Jason. I've never done shit with guns on the internet
curious.
other than playing a character. I've never done commentary on weapons. I like guns. I know how to shoot guns. I own a couple guns, but I'm not like a gun guy. I'm not out there. He called me a f***ing gun tuber.
Well,
and there's nothing wrong with being a gun tuber. I'm saying
as
it's
a
like,
compliment.
I've literally never done that. Why would you say that?
You should take it as a compliment because it means that they're just simply associating you with like the overall.
Because I do unsub with Brandon?
Yes,
Pretty much.
It's literally like,
Yeah.
I brought it up. I was talking
Yes.
to Nolan today, but I think it was this morning, we were sitting in the gym together. I was going through comments on our last YouTube video and like, we got a little sexist on it. And there was like,
In a good way.
yeah, I mean, it
We
was
love
fun.
women,
But
not
Can't they
children.
park?
But like it was like the first time where like our stuff was getting served out in the kind of like the mainstream. We're getting outside of our bubble.
yeah.
And people were not happy about some of the comments that got made on it. Someone said that Jake had really fallen off from his corridor days.
Yeah, well,
And it's
there's
like-
definitely a portion
Yeah,
of the corridor
but it's
audience
good.
that
Like,
doesn't
I'm-
like me just being me.
Yeah, but I'm excited
And
about
I'm
it.
like
Like
totally okay with that.
we're
They don't have to
dude,
watch.
We're finally getting out into the part of the internet where people are like mad that you're there. Like
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Well, it's always interesting too, because like when you look at these people that are making these comments, you kind of
we
look
went
at that
through everyone's
profile picture
profiles,
and you're
yeah.
like, you might be schizophrenic. Next.
Every single
You
profile
might be
that had something
schizophrenic.
negative
Next.
to say, we were like clicking on their thing and being like, I would fight you in an alleyway all day. Like,
Think back in the day, and if you're every fucking town in America has the town crazy person where everybody knows he's just kind of nuts.
Yeah,
you leave him alone.
Now they all have social media.
Exactly.
Now they can
and that's
all
the thing.
get
It's like
together and
there's
be
a
crazy
lot
together.
of
They run history
towns,
channels on
right?
YouTube.
Yeah. But back then, you had to put in work to have your crazy shit out there. You had to write the editor, and the editor had to be like, he seems sane, sure.
You had to like put some bombs in people's mailbox.
Exactly. Yeah.
what I mean?
Now, like anybody, like not only can a crazy person say crazy shit about something. Anything, but all the other crazy people can like his comment and validate him. Where if he's alone in that town, the townspeople are just gonna like, that's old Jasper over there. We just let him be, you know?
Jasper's
out
a
on
little
a rail.
weird.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people that pile on. They're like, I also shoot teenage lovers on Lover Lane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, it's so true. There was an analogy in it. It was like all of the town crazy people now have garnered together and they support each other.
Yeah, they have their own city.
And it seems
they have a metropolis.
Yeah, it seems like there's like they make points and then they like back each other up, and it's like, do they have validity? No, they're still just insane.
By the way, since they are crazy and dumb and scared, they always end up eating each other anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my favorite thing about like the
Lord of the Flies,
left
baby.
is that like you're never ever left enough.
Yeah.
Eventually,
That's
you're
what-
gonna get eaten also.
That's what I always say, because I've never voted in my life. I don't
Self-fulfilling
consider myself, I have opinions, but it doesn't matter because I don't vote. But that's what I always say. It's like I have groups of I don't care about people's political opinions as long as you're fun and a good person.
Yeah.
That's all I give a shit about.
Yeah.
But I do notice that because I've been on both ends, and the right people are a lot more willing to accept me for who I am than the left people are. Where, like to
It's
your
what we were
point,
talking about off camera. Like on the left, you better toe that line.
Yeah.
You can't step out of line. On the right, we're a little bit more like,
Well, yeah, they may not even like me, but they're not gonna.
Yeah. It's because the right is classically Southern, and classically Southern people are taught to be polite. So
Bless
we're
your
like,
heart.
well, that's
bless,
gross.
yeah, bless his heart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, hey, if y'all want to check out Jacked History, it's available at Jacked History on YouTube.
Jack History on YouTube.
It's a
Yeah,
fantastic show. He's not going to talk it up because, you know, the whole...
the Minnesota thing. I
Yeah.
think I'm doing something
It's a
terrible.
fantastic
it's
show.
great.
You will not be let down. Check it out. And if you want to catch us on the Aftershow exclusive to Pepperbox, as well as the Cock and Load show that we were just telling you about, there's hundreds of exclusives and those available. You can start a 14-day free trial in the link in the description below. And these shirts are available.
Boom.
Yeah,
on
we went the
Bunker
whole
branding.
episode and didn't plug the matching.
We are now.
Yeah.
Man, this sucks. You guys got me with it. They came in the last episode. Was the 2 episodes ago?
Yeah.
They both sat down with like matching linen
Linen
shirts on that they had
shirts.
planned for like 2 months.
Matching linen shirts.
I like that the Ed Hardy kind of.
It was this guy named Austin Tattoos on Instagram. He like did the artwork for us for free.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a
So
cool
anyway,
community.
we hope that you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching this episode. Thank you, Jack, for being on. And
No, thank you so much for having me.
thank you.
Thank you. Wow. We're glad you came.
See you later.
You guys have such a beautiful sign off.
Thanks.
It's great. They do the same thing every time.
Yeah. Wow.
Glad you came.
Glad you came. It's like a news anchor thing.
Yeah. That's how the cookie crumbles.